What's good, Bulls fans and Hornets, and welcome to the special play-in tournament breakdown here on the Horns Over Hoops podcast. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Scotty B. Scotty B's on. We gave Dan Gracie the day off today. He's got adult things to worry about. Scotty B, how you doing?
Not bad, not bad. How about you?
Doing pretty good. We normally don't do these, but after a game like we had yesterday, I thought that now is a good time to do our after game play and breakdown. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Scotty B, what was your thoughts on the game yesterday? That is the Atlanta Hawks versus the Bulls for their first ever play-in tournament. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, was surprised how well they played. I went into the game thinking we're going to win. We obviously have been better than the Hawks all year, but I was really surprised how well the team played. Everybody was hitting their shots. They were moving the ball really well. Our guards stepped up massively. DeRozan was on a mission. Kobe was on a mission. Io was playing really well. So it was a great game, and really did not expect them to come out like that.
Yeah, they played. I got the same notes here. I think wall to wall, they played an incredible game from start to finish. Of course, we had that delay, early delay because Philly and Miami were finishing up their game and then transitioned over. But we had limited turnover, something that had been hurting us for a long time throughout the entire season. Great ball distributions. We weren't just settling for that one pass shot. We were actually looking for the open guy. We were moving great without the ball, a lot of open shots, and we were just shooting the ball better as a team. We were recognizing the hot hand, which as of lately hasn't really been the case with the Bulls. We always just kind of force the ball through one player, DeMar DeRozan. And then this time we recognized we had a hotter shooter in Kobe White and went to him. So I think wall to wall, we played a tremendous game against the Hawks. I know that they did say that Trae Young was kind of nursing hand a little bit. Did you think it seemed to bother him, or do you think he's just declining in his skills?
It's not that he's declining in his skills. It's the problem with Trae Young is he's such a good scorer that if he doesn't have the ball in his hand, he doesn't know what to do. And I think part of the problem was they started to Trae Young was out for a while this year, and what's his name? DeJounte Murray.
Johnson? Oh,
No,
DeJounte.
Murray. Yeah, DeJounte Murray stepped it up massively, and the team started to understand that they can play through Devontae or through him, and they continue to do it while both of them are on the floor. And at that point, you're immediately losing someone because Trae Young's not doing anything. So he can still hit his shots. It's just he doesn't know what to do when he doesn't have the ball. And I think that's the biggest issue. He also doesn't play any defense, but
yeah, I looked at the Hawks last night. Kind of, they look like a similar boat to us. Like there's whispers of them trying to move Trae Young, and after watching Bogdanovich and DeJounte Murray play, it's almost as if I would try to move away from Trae and build around DeJounte. I know DeJounte did request, or not request, but they were looking to move him this year. They couldn't find a suitor that they wanted. But I think that after a game like yesterday, especially in a win now situation, they could totally trust DeJounte Murray and build around him. Of course, it's not entirely his fault. They lost by 15 points, but he did step up in a big way. That huge dunk on Vooch. I don't know if you saw that one.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe it's something. I feel like maybe Trae Young has a higher value in the trade market than DeJounte, but who knows? I just looked at them as a similar situation to us, where we're trying to move away from Zach LaVine. So maybe they're trying to do the same thing with Trae. Who knows? But wall to wall, the game went pretty well, with the exception of one play. And we actually, if you haven't seen it, we have a clip for you here. So I'll go ahead and play that. Here it is. So if you're watching on your screen right now, Andre Drummond plows in to Alex Caruso, causing a significant right foot sprain rather, which his stat is now in doubt for the Miami game. Yeah, that was brutal. So um I saw some hate on Twitter for Big Cat there, but he seems to be a habitual um running into
Clown
his own
show.
player. Yeah, that's probably the best way I could put it. So what are your thoughts on that play?
Well, first, I'm just kind of getting annoyed by Drummond. Like, he hasn't been playing up to what we expected recently. Like, in the last few weeks, he's not coming in getting those 10 rebounds in 8 minutes that we saw previous or throughout the year. He like it seems like he's kind of stopped trying a bit, and then he keeps making these stupid plays. Like, how do you not see a guy when he was literally staring directly at him and he ran right into him? It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I saw some hate on Twitter, like, thanks to Drummond, Alex isn't playing, but at the same time, you know what I mean? It's hard to watch, but we can't put the blame on one player. I mean, these things happen in basketball. I know, rewind back to when he jumped over Torrey Craig trying to get that lob and then hurt himself on the next play, but seems like he's got no awareness to his surroundings. So and of course, I did just mention that it's going to take Caruso out of our game against Miami. How do you think that's going to affect the game as a whole?
Really, I don't think it's gonna affect him that much because all that's gonna do is give more time to Io, um, Terry, and Craig probably. So it sucks that he's out, but I feel like we're gonna get more scoring possibilities with him out.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with Io coming back from that injury that he just sustained, and he didn't look like he missed a beat. I mean, that man looked like he was playing like he never got injured in the first place. He is your guy, so I will go ahead and let you detail that. So, what did you think of Io yesterday?
Oh, he still playing great from three. I think he was like 3 for 4 from three. And he's showing that he's not scared to go at people. I think he had some great drives where he was making some great layups. He even had like a dunk, which you don't see much from him. And then he had that block where I forgot who it was, but he just came out of nowhere and blocked him from behind. So it just Io continues to improve and impress us. So I think he's shown that he can be a starter in this league. I know last year, I'm so glad that last year he was like, should he even be on this team anymore? And now he's showing, hey, yeah, he should be. So great game from him. And I don't see why it can't continue tomorrow against the Heat.
Yeah. 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 As you mentioned, last season, it seemed like Iowa as a whole had a great regular season. And then when it came down to the playoffs, he kind of faded away. He wasn't hitting his shot as often. And now he's got more confidence in that pull up three money. I mean, it's such a smooth shot. But he's been playing with the utmost confidence to the point where now I keep asking, but I'm going to keep asking again, can this potentially be the backcourt of the future going forward with Io and Kobe?
Kobe. I would think this is what they should be building around right now.
Okay. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think that Io has more than earned his minutes. I think he's played better than a six-man role, and I think sliding him into the rotation uh, would be a great move going forward, especially if they're going to move on from Zach LaVine. So, but we mentioned it. We mentioned his name earlier. His counterpart, Kobe White, stole the show, having an incredible 42-point game. And you said you had some stats for us. So what do you have for Kobe's stat line?
Well, first of all, you know how ESPN loves to make up ridiculous, like first person to do this has done
Yeah.
this and that. So I saw the stat. Kobe White is the only Bulls player, other than Michael Jordan, to have a 40-point, 5 assist, and 0 turnover game.
Oh, wow. That's a
And
good name to be up against. Like, well, hold on, in
yeah,
Chicago history or NBA history?
in Bulls history.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's a good name to be up there with.
the stats don't count, which is it still blows my mind that like you have a game, why aren't the stats counting?
Yeah, I know that he mentioned that yesterday when he was getting interviewed by I forgot who was interviewing him off the court interview, but she even said you had a new career high, but it doesn't count. So and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna count it anyway. That's my new career high." I'm with
Yeah,
you. Why aren't these stats counting? Because technically speaking, it's a postseason stat. So I don't see why it can't be added to the
that's what I'm
postseason.
saying. Yeah.
I mean, I know that overall, postseason stats don't apply to your regular season. You know what I mean? Because I believe Jordan had like 63 or 69 points as his career high in the playoffs, but I don't think he ever registered that in the regular season. So, but yeah, it would be nice to see them put that stat uh, officially. I guess if there's any other word for it.
Yeah,
So,
I think it
um,
should definitely count as a postseason stat.
yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
the big thing with Kobe I saw yesterday was he took only 8 shots from beyond 10 feet, which when normally with Kobe, he's shooting 5, 6 threes. He's like just pulling up.
Mm.
He was 12 for 13 within 10 feet. So it's like he's driving to the basket. And I want to see that more. Like we know he can shoot. Let's drive more.
Yeah. And speaking of driving, he had that one driving play, which again, we have this clip ready for you. This made my jaw drop. It was just so incredibly smooth. So we'll go ahead and play that for you. And see, he's driving it up, goes past the defender, spins up and off the glass for a beautiful finish. That could quite possibly be one of Kobe White's best layups I've ever seen. What do you think?
Oh, it was when I saw that, I just it like blew my mind. It was like, what a play. But
Yeah.
it just like he's building so much confidence to be able to do that. And I love it. He was doing the spin plays, he was doing Euro steps, just getting to the basket so easy. I think my favorite layup that he did, um, other than the spin move, was it was like I don't know, 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. There was he blew past 2 defenders and he literally looked back like surprised that he was so wide open after he got past them.
Yeah.
And it was like, wow, that's so good.
Well, Kobe and Io, their speed combined, they could be probably, if not the fastest backcourt in the NBA if they really stick to it. Yeah, Kobe's got some shoes on him. He can run.
Yep.
Um, can he step up and be a leader in this postseason? Because we do have Miami tomorrow or tonight if you're watching this today. Um, can he step up as a leader with a Miami team that is without Terry Rozier and of course without their star player Jimmy Butler, who sustained that MCL injury? Can he step up?
I don't know how much of a leader he has to be because I feel like DeRozan is still the leader of this team. He's just kind of the guy there to help support him. Like DeRozan will always be the leader, and I think everybody will look to him. But it's can he continue to be a hot hand and run the we are we going to run the offense through him? Are we going to run it through DeRozan? It's just kind of who's hot at the moment, and I think they're starting to do it the right way of going through who's hot instead of hey DeRozan needs the ball, hey Zach Levine needs the ball. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. I think that that recognizing the hot hand is going to be their key to victory going forward. Because we saw it yesterday where, again, we'd mentioned it earlier, that they didn't rely on giving it to their star, quote unquote. They recognized that, Kobe was having an incredible night. So, hey, we're going to feed off through him. I'm with you. I wouldn't put him as quite stepping up and being able to lead like that would incredibly boost his candidacy for most improved player. But that's not what I'm expecting out of him. I'm just expecting him to go out there and play the basketball that he played yesterday. I'm not even expecting a 40-point game. I'm just expecting him to go out there and playing with that intensity and that intelligence. Because turning the ball over 0 times is an incredible feat. Nonetheless, dishing out what did I say, 6 assists? Yeah, grabbing 9 boards, 42 points. I mean, across the board, that was an incredible night. I'm not expecting quite that, but I expect him to come out with that same tenacity. So moving forward, as I mentioned, we do have that Miami game. What do you expect to come of this game as a whole? What do you think? Of course, I did mention no Jimmy, no Terry, and Duncan Robinson. I don't know if he's playing or not.
Yeah, I think the big thing is, will Duncan Robinson played? I think he was cleared to play against the Sixers, or he was like a game time decision. So I think that's the biggest thing, is if Duncan Robinson can play, that's where we're going to struggle with, because every time he plays us, he kills us. Can Vooch handle Bam? It's another big question, because Bam always gets like 10, 15 rebounds on Vooch, and he starts giving up on like those playing against those good centers. Tyler Hero, we need to make sure his shots aren't falling, and same with Jaquez. If we can continue to shoot like we did yesterday, which who knows, because this isn't a team that shoots that well normally. I think we might be able to win this game. We're 2-2 against the Heat this year, so it's not like they're beating us every time, and none of those games were really blowouts. So it's kind of even right now, and I might say we're favored just because we're healthier.
Yeah. So overall, you got who do you got winning?
I do think the Bulls win, but again, you can never count the Heat out. They're such a weird team. Like, they made it to the finals. Like, was it last year or was it the year before?
Last year. That was the team that,
Yeah.
and remember, we were
almost beat
handling them pretty well that game. So yeah.
So
you
can never count the Heat out, but also that's because of Jimmy too.
Yeah. Of course, Jimmy not being there. Do you have us winning by 10 or less, or 10 or more?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know how this team's going to be. So I have no answer. What do you have?
So I'm gonna side with you. I'm gonna say I think we win. I think we win by under 10. I think that the Bulls have statistically struggled against teams with injured players. Of course, you remember during the regular season when the Wizards were missing a quarter of their lineup and we still managed to lose to them.
The G League Wizards, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm expecting them to unfortunately see that there's no Jimmy and play down to their competition. I hope I'm wrong, but I can see that happening. I could see a typical Bulls come out flat-footed, tabulate a negative 10 deficit and then eating away at it and then getting that was close victory. But I do see us winning. Again, under 10 points there. But the question of all is, do you even want Bulls to win this game?
As a fan, yeah, I want them to win. And before yesterday's game, I would have said no. But just seeing how well they played and like just seeing them together, I do want them to win. Like, at this point, I don't care about a draft pick. This draft class sucks anyways. But
yeah.
I do kind of want them to win just to make the playoffs, so they can get swept by the Celtics.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. And that's the only reason why I asked this. I'm with you. As a fan, you want to see them win. You want to see them go in the playoffs. You want to see them push as hard as they can. But I don't know how even to put it. As a realist, I would like for them to lose to stay in the draft lottery, get a better pick. And I said this is the greatest of drafts, but I feel like the top 5 in this draft should be pretty solid. I think that right now our target should be a big man. Outside of all the signing, DeRozan, P. Wills, whatever. I think that our target in this draft should be a big guy. And Donovan Clingan, I've been saying it all year. I would love to see him get drafted by us, but after him and the Connecticut team walked away with the title, I think he's going to be way too high up there. So I would like for them to win, but again, it wouldn't matter. They're just going to sweep Boston in the next round, either us or Miami. So it doesn't matter. I mean, and Jimmy, he's out for what, weeks? So who knows if he's even back in time to play Boston. So I guess only time will tell. Of course, that Miami Heat game tips off in Miami, where we have kind of struggled in Miami as a whole. It tips off at 6 p.m. Chicago time. So by Saturday, we'll know if we're going home disappointed or if we're going to Boston to get disappointed even more, I guess you can say. So
Yeah.
that's about it.
You got 6 p.m. NBA, 6 p.m. Let's stop starting games at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Like that's a great time. I can understand the West Coast games, how they're 9 o'clock our time. Like there has been some awkward games this year. Do you remember when we played at like 9 o'clock and we were in Milwaukee?
Yeah. It's the whole TNT thing or ESPN, but at least for the play-in, they really should do one East Coast game or one Eastern Conference and one Western Conference game a night. And you have the Western Conference game start later. There's no need to have both of them the same night.
Right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, they did that purposely where they staggered the games, right? Where they had Miami and Philly at 7 and then us at 9. I think did they stagger that on purpose to not? I mean, I know baseball does something similar where they don't let other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a whole TV contract thing, but yeah.
Yeah. Now, before cut loose, would you have rather played Philly or would you have rather played Miami?
Miami. If
Miami?
we played Philly, yeah, I don't want any part of Philly with Embiid back. Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah, of course they did win by 1 point, which I mean it was a crawl back to lose by 1 point, but that was with him playing like rather rusty. He wasn't as 100% Embiid, so I would hate to have played Embiid, with a little bit more time to rest and get the rust out. I would have liked to have seen Kobe White go up against Tyrese Maxey because it would solidify who's the clear and cut most improved player, which I'm going to say right now, I don't care if it's biased or not. I think Kobe White is 100% the most improved player just because of the fact that Tyrese Maxey was already pretty solid last year. He already had somewhat of a name for himself last year, and Kobe White was coming off the bench. So, I mean, who do you got for MIP?
They're going to give it to Maxey because that's just he's going to get it. But Kobe White should get it. Jalen Williams from the Thunder is also up there.
Yeah,
but
yep. They secured the number 1 seed in the West.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're gonna face off against. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The Lakers are facing off against the Nuggets, right? Yeah, we haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
So,
we'll worry about that later.
Yeah, we'll do a whole other episode on the playoffs as a whole. But as we mentioned earlier, game time is 6 p.m. Chicago time on Friday. We are in Miami. Hopefully, the Bulls can edge out a victory and extend their season a little more. So, you got anything for the fans before we get loose?
No, I don't think so.
No. All right. Well, this has been a Horns Over Hoops production here. We just concluded the first play-in game. Leave us a comment below on any other material you'd like seen, and if you'd like to be a guest on the show, as always, slide us a DM and we'll have you on. We love guests, so give us a follow. Follow us on Twitter where we talk about the game. We're very active in there. And from all of us here at Horns Over Hoops, we invite you to see red and go Bulls. Good night, everybody.